Hello everybody and welcome back to City Skylines Vanilla City with me, TW1. Last couple of episodes we're working on this park canal ferry situation where we've done some invisible pathways as well over here. Just want to report that I've added in some trees and added in some rocks. I've been trying to beautify it up so we can move away from this for an episode and go do something else, or a few episodes entirely. What we're going to do is we're going to solve two problems in one. That is my plan of action anyway. As you can see, there's a lot of ferries over here, shuttling people from this side of the, what do you call this, a lagoon, a river, a lake? I don't particularly know, to the other. You look at this, jam-packed. Can't add any more people to it, so that is rammed. And this one over here, this ferry stop over here, is also jam-packed. The other issue is they're getting in the way of each other because it's only it's only a single ferry stop. We need to upgrade it to the bigger boy. So that is what we're going to start off with. After that, we are then going to try and solve another issue as we discuss things. I want to... Space is already occupied. What are you occupied by? I want to upgrade our university because our university is not doing very good. Let me just quickly connect this all in and then we can move on and talk about the university. There we go. Ferries are now all hooked up. If I put the stops on the wrong side... Where's the stops meant to be going? I don't think the stops have updated. Update stops. Update. The pink's going that side. No, that side. Black. That side. Thank you very much. The game got confused. Now we can go and talk about the university, because if you look at our education, that is not the educational tab. That is the educational tab. That is a spoiler of what we're about to do. That's what that is. Elementary school, great. High school, great. University, not so great. Because... the thing that's slightly confusing me is they're not actually going to the university, because if we click on here, there's like 2,000 space here. You'd have 2,000 more students in our uni. I'm blaming it on campus attractiveness, so we're going to try and get that up. How you can get that up without adding more buildings to the actual campus is two ways. Policies, which is universal education, which would be the tuition fees, which with me will be losing out on about 13.5 grand a year. Which is not particularly great for our budget, because our budget is fluctuating and sometimes this is really helpful to have. The other thing you can do is varsity sports, and that is what we are going to do this episode. I'm also thinking of adding in a harbour as well over here. So this bit of land right here, what we want is we want a varsity sports building. So I'm going to put in the baseball park, because that will probably be the best looking, and then have it face this direction so you can watch the baseball, watch the ferries, watch the ships, watch the bridge. Really could be cool to look at. The other thing I want to add in is a harbour, so we can get some, try and save on people as well. So harbour in here, varsity sports building, and maybe one other connection when it comes to public transport. Just having a little look about. Maybe tram. We may try and hook in some sort of a tram stop in here as a transfer point to try and help people out. So if you come in via the harbour, you can then either drive, which will be hitting a roundabout, which is fine. You could walk. We could potentially add a walking path, so you could walk to this ferry stop, which would also be fine and dandy. We're happy with that. Or you can catch a tram. Catch a tram. We'll line that somewhere through here, round here somewhere, and hook it up in here, so then you can transfer either to a different tram line or to a train, and that train takes you back over to the multi. So yeah, that's how you give the game multiple options. That is what we're thinking. So let's start with terrain, because we're going to need to make this a little bit bigger. Just as an eyeball, how big is this stadium? But yeah, we're going to need a lot of space. So let's grab the terrain tool. I use the slope tool personally. And we are going to right click the surface level that we want, and then we are going to drag. You can't hear me click anymore because I've got a new mouse and it's silent, but I'm clicking, trust me. And we're going to make this pretty big. We're going to make this pretty big. We're going to play on free speed just so the game can update the water, because we are going to be changing the water flow for a moment. So we're going to have to let the game sort out the flooding before we do anything else. So I'll be back once the flooding is sorted out. I'm just going to keep an eye on these ferries for a moment, just make sure they're behaving. Okie dokie, so the water has sorted itself out and leveled itself off. These ferries are not keeping up at all. We'll have to do something a little bit drastic. I'm hoping the changes by putting a harbour in here will lighten the load on the ferries, because I've noticed that Blue Bus, which is the bus that comes from over here, great example, here he is, he picks up people from over here, and all he is doing is dumping waves of 30 people, and I've just been watching them walk around this corner and go straight into the ferry stop. So I think it's that bus from the train station that's causing us some issues. So if we can add in a harbour connection as an outer city connection, it might then cut down on the train situation, which would be excellent, which would then have a knock-on effect on our ferries, which would help that out. Also, if we then add in walking past, they can get to the cable car, they can get to a tram eventually, they can get to a ferry. It's going to be easier, they can get around a little bit in different options. They won't all be forced to do one thing, which they are being forced to do at the moment. So let's think about what we want to be doing. So we're going to need the stadium, so we're going to need to try and measure out a big enough space for it. Just as a quick little idea, I suppose we could use this over here. So that's a nice little straight line. We're going to pop the stadium on here very quickly. Keep it in pause mode because we don't waste any money. We don't waste too much money. And now we're going to measure how big this stadium is the best we can. So let's just come out as far as we want. And then, so you are about 1,000 deep. So we say 1,080. That'll cover it, I'm pretty sure. And you are about, so that's about there is where it starts. So if we say about 800 wide, about 840 wide around the back end, which is wider than the front end, so we know we're going to need quite a big area. We're also going to need to add in the harbour, and the harbour is going to have its own road, because that's the way the harbours is. They come in with their own road, so we're going to have to try and plan this. Then we want to add in a key as well to make it all look good. So then if we try and integrate a tram, it's going to get very, very tight and complex very quickly. This might be a little bit of a longer episode because we're going to try and really build something a little bit more intricate as normal than normal. So you'll have to just bear in mind that and follow along. Watch in 2 parts if you want. Wow, I'm good. Wow, I'm good at this game. I didn't think I was going to be that good, if I'm honest. And now I'm going to try and line it up so we can get a key. I want a tram. How am I going to get a tram in here? That is a problem for another day, isn't it? Let's turn you off for a moment because I don't want a shit ton of cars coming over here and causing me problems. We will need water and power very quickly, so let's just yoink some water over here. And we'll yoink some power as well from in there, maybe? I don't know where we want the power from. Power from. Right, let's worry about getting the key in. Let's worry about key. Let's worry about harbour. And then we can worry about tram. Let's do that. That would be probably the simpler option. So we need to get rid of this terrain. We just need to tidy this terrain up. So yet again, slope tool, select the tool, level you want. We're just going to bosh a load of that land away, very nice and clean. We're going to allow the game to run, which is going to be frustrating because the stadium's going to start moaning at me, but we need the water levels to be sorting themselves out. Should we place in the key first? Let's place in key first. Key first, then delete road, then place harbour, then replace road. That's the way think this should go. So I don't want to go up to the corner dead shot, do I? Because that will be then hard to get around a corner. So that is the key. That is the basis of the key where we want the harbour to be. If we then delete that and then we then grab a harbour, please work. Please. It wants to work, but it doesn't want to work because it's got power cables in the way. I really want that to be nice and central. Really want it to be central. Why aren't you? I can't find a path. I can't find route. There is the best I think we're going to do with that. think that really is the best we're going to do. I think I've just buried my key as well. Don't think I'm going to get my key back out of there, am I? No, space is already occupied. I need to fully extend my key, because otherwise I'm not going to get my key back out the other side. We'll do that and do that. Now we can place the harbour back in over the top, wasting money for days, as far left as we can. Smashed in beautifully. We then need to connect the power back up, but they're not going to connect up because there's no shipping route in the way, meaning you have to redesign where this power goes. Probably the other side of, I don't know, we'll worry about power in a moment. We'll keep it paused for now. And now we should be able to connect this road into that road, which shouldn't be too much drama. That isn't straight. That is like the smallest of off. Like there's off and then there's that. That has to be the worst. The worst thing I've ever seen in this game, because that is so frustrating. That's straight. And this side, we just need to make it like so slightly off. That's straight. There we go. We're hooked up. We are hooked up and glorious. I think we've gained like a smidge of a gap, which we might use, we might not. Now that's in, now we have the harbour in, now we have the stadium in, we need to worry about getting a tram track in here, which I'm not even sure the best way, where we would want the tram. I suppose the second question is can people walk across that? Or not? Because I don't know. I really don't know if the game's going to allow people to walk across that, because if they don't, I've then got to push this back another block and then get a pathway in. That would be frustrating. I'm going to have to push it back another block just in case. Advice for people to play around with trams is... I don't know. Just do something else. No, trams is all serious and really fun to play around with, but I'm just trying to push them to the limits of what is really possible here, and it's not exactly... The game's not exactly liking what I'm doing. It cannot be built on water. I have to extend the land a little bit more here. I don't really want to be extending the land too much more, because it's going to start getting very messy. I do have a big old space around the backhand side of this stadium, and I could move the stadium a tad. That's what we're going to do, is we're not going to move the tram tracks, we're going to move the stadium. Let's delete stadium for refund. Thank you very much. We're going to move this road over by a tad. A sliver, so you two there instead. Can you give me the guideline and not that? Thank you very much. Now hopefully the stadium will still fit in this gap. No, it won't. Right, the tram track's all in. Now the question is, can I get a pathway from here to there without it saying distance too short? Oh, thank God for that. I tell you what, if that didn't happen, I was going to be pretty annoyed. I'm not going to lie to you guys. And then we can connect that one up there. Excellent. Thank you very much for that, game. You're actually being nice to me for once. Just need to try and decorate this area up a little bit, because it's looking a little bit bland, isn't it? I suppose we'll worry about that afterwards. We'll get the functionality part in first. Harbour in, stadium in, trams line set up. We just need to get it now hooked up underground or above ground or what the frick ever to an area that is happy to... So it needs to be hooked up to the main tram area over there. That's the only problem now. So let's just start winding it up around and through here in a nice sensible manner without wasting too much space as well. So we're going to have to start coming above ground at some point just so it looks normal. And I want like a nice straight line. Let's start just doing it in little straight lines. There's a little tip if you want to line stuff up. So we know it wants to be straight there. We know we're going to want to go over the top of this road and underneath that train track. Will that happen? That will happen. So we know that's going to be a thing as well. You need to be going a little bit further than that though. Just by a tad game. There we go. Thank you very much. We then know it's going to want to be going perpendicular to this train track and up this hill. I might just try and make this hill a little bit of a more gradual slope. Let's make like a little indent for this tram track to go through. So we're going to use the slope tool in a little slightly different way this time. So we're just going to drag it ever so slightly up throughout. And then that should hopefully then start making a little area for this tram to go through. We are going to go by this train station, so we're going to come in through there just in some sensible manner. Just take a little bit of that land off and we'll smoothen that out a tad as well. We'll grab the smoothing tool just to do that. Just even him back out a tad. We just want to try and make a little area in which this will go through. So like through there and then through there. Just keep right clicking and then left clicking, right clicking and left clicking as you slowly create the slope that you want. So just trying to eyeball a level that I want, and then we'll just drag it through, dragging through, all the way through. And then eventually we should have a nice gradual slope for this tram track to go through. And then we're just going to grab the smoothing tool at the last second and just add a little smoothing job to it, just to tidy him up a tad. Move a little bit of that harsh edge away. And then yet again we know that we're going to want the tram track to go nice and square to this road or this train track as well. So we also know he's going to be going through this area. So we're going to want it to be coming down to the ground at some point. Probably in there. And then we can start doing some bendy work. Just getting it to come through here at some sort of sensible angle, and then we'll do another straight line in there, and then that would be nice and parallel to the train as well. Might just tidy that corner up a tad. This is going to be a janky corner as well. That is a little bit much. Might see if I can get that to bend underneath instead of one smooth motion. Do you want to bend underneath there? One smooth motion and then go over the top? No. I could, if I just delete the train track, get that to work very quickly. That might be the way we go. So I'm just going to delete that train connection right there. Put in the tram track so it's nice and straight over the top of that road. And then hopefully it will then allow me to put the train track back in. I say hopefully. Thank you very much, game. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And now we have the little spot that we know we want to be the tram to be connecting up to. Do another little bend. Another 90-degree bend. And then we know we want it to be connecting to that guy over there on a nice slope alongside the highway. And then yet again another little bend in here. We're just going to try and use this road guideline. So if we can try and find that guideline and use it. There we go. That'll create a nice 90-degree for us. And somewhere underneath here is the tram tracks. We'll probably dip underground at this point. And then finally fire him in so he's all connected up. And that will be a tram track connected to this area. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. It doesn't cause too many issues. I'm going to need to sort out walking path. Walking path, and you need a turnaround spot, don't you? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Let's just add a little circle for the turnaround for the tram. Use the one-way system as well, just because we can. Come back up. Find which side of the road is, or what side of the tram track is what way. Just do a tiny little turnaround circle. Very, very quickly. Actually try and make it look like a circle would be nice. just so it's not completely jank. There we go, nice little turnaround tram circle. And pathway wise, this looks like it'll be quite an easy one because we can just connect this guy up to there. Thank you very much. We'll delete that fence, but that is now hooked up and connected. Meaning we can put a tram stop around there. Thank you very much. And we can run that tram stop all the way around over to here, that side. Excellent. You all the way through. It's going to be on the outside, which would be a shame, but I'll have to deal with it. If you're on the inside there, can you cross over? I would guess you can cross over where there's a tunnel, so we're going to ignore that. And then we're just going to drag him all the way back so he stops back up here. That is the power of public transport. That should now all be connected up. The only issue is that I've just remembered that the tram actually needs to be hooked up to the main line, because otherwise the trams can't get to the actual line, can they? Balls. Balls, 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 balls. We are going to hook him up on this side, I think. We'll just come off this little roundabout here. And we will dip underground. Thank you very much. Come back up above ground. Or round underground from there. And then just hook him up like that. So there is a little way for them in and out on that side. Don't need too many. We're going to unplay the game. So we can slowly start. I can't be playing the game because I can't get power over here, can I? Power! 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 What do we want? What if I just throw in a wave machine? They look quite small enough. That connects to power by an absolute tad, and if I throw a wave machine in there, that connects to power by an absolute tad. So that's power connected up. We can actually start playing the game and letting that run a little bit. Turn this back on. And we'll then go into key mode, and we'll try and tidy this key up. So, with the key tool, if I can find it, there we go. We are going to go to out. There's so many different guidelines around here now. Holy moly, that's a mess. Might have been a good idea to put keys in before I put paths in. And to there. Are you then going to bend around that corner? Yes, excellent. Then we'll do the same on the other side. Why are you flooded? Are you flooded for a serious reason, or are you just going to stop being flooded at some point? It would be great if you weren't flooded. Thank you very much, game. Don't really want flooded. Yeah, so you got water coming in and out, in and out, in and out. I don't want that. Don't want that at all. Don't want that at all. Same for you guys, just to there, and then we'll try and bend you in to this one. Thank you very much. Not exactly even, because that guy's wider because he's got the tram on the outside instead of the inside. But that should be fine and dandy. And then this key is going to have to do a hard bend in there, I'll tell you that much. Let's get rid of all of that so we can make it nice and sensible. And that's probably where the key on that side will end. And then around here we'll just try and bend him in. Distance too short. Distance too short. There we go. Connect in. All the way around and connect to that one. Excellent, thank you very much. Tram hooked up and ready. I'm not sure if the trams are coming yet, or they're actually going to be picking up passengers or not, but we shall soon see. There's someone walking to the stop. That's good to see. There's 2 people in the tram. How many trams are on the line? 6. Not sure we're going to need 6. We'll let it run for a while. Don't know how busy this is going to get yet, do we? And I'm going to then need to hook up a pathway. I have this pathway around here that we're going to hook up, because public transport is all fine and dandy, but walkways are very, very good at getting people about. So we can now hook that up so they can walk. I'd love a path along there. Are you going to allow me to do that? You would technically. Like, I could have a bridge. We could do a bridge along here, I suppose, and then sneak a path along. Sneak a path, sneak a path, sneak a path. And then we'll try and get it to go all the way through here. I don't know how ugly that looks. How ugly do you look? Oh, that is freaking awful. That is awful. Let's get rid of that. Let's not do that. As great as an idea that was, it's going to look terrible, so let's not do that. We'll just make people walk along this path. It's the same distance pretty much. A little bit longer, but not dreadful. And they can cross over at any point. We might need a few shops around here, might we? We might need some sort of businesses maybe. These guys, are you in the the noise pollution? Offices. Let's put some offices around here, just to try and cover up some of the noise pollution a little bit. So if we put in a couple of shops in there, some store shops for the team, so little team shops in there, little team shops along here as well, and same along there and same along here. Just so we have some shops, and then we're just going to throw a little bit of offices on there. I'm just going to change this zoning in here with one little quick trick. I'm going to change that to a non-zonable road, just like that. Bang, thank you very much. Don't be zoned it on. Now we can put some offices along that there. That should buffer all of the noise for this area, meaning these houses don't get annoyed by the stadium and how noisy it is. And that, I think we're going to call that an episode. I'm not sure how effective the tram's going to be. I would like to worry. That is the main thing I'm worried about, is how effective this tram is, and I'm not sure if this harbour is being utilised yet or not. Yeah, I'm going to end it here. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go away and watch some traffic and watch some other little things in this as I do. If you've learned something new, hit like. If you want to watch some more, hit subscribe. And as always, guys, peace out.